Hi, welcome back to my channel, Stitch in Style by me, Nadia, and today I've got a little bit of a different vlog for you. Today is Wednesday and it's the 4th of October and it's my non-working day today. Normally on a non-working day I have quite a lot of jobs to do and things and errands to run and what have you. I don't always get a lot of time for sewing, but today I'm going to be doing quite a little bit of sewing and my sister's coming later, so that's exciting. So I thought I'd do a spend the day with me. I've already done quite a little bit of recording, so you can see what I've been up to so far today. Now it's 12:15 and I'm actually feeling hungry for my dinner, but I did just have a little snack. So I might be just going to have some dinner first, or lunch if you call it that. So far there's not been much sewing content because I've been out and had a personal training session, and I'll insert that footage now. 6:39 and I'm just getting ready to leave to go and see my PT. So yeah, I'm just going to go on my bike. It's actually still dark outside and it's the first time this year, well not this year, but I mean this season, that I'm going to be leaving in the dark. So I'll see you in a bit. I've just got back from seeing my PT. So we had a really good session. We just worked on my upper half because I'm doing the marathon on Sunday and I'm so excited and nervous about doing my marathon. It's my first one ever and I never thought I would do a marathon. My PT gave me a little bit of a pep talk about the pace that I'm going to be sticking to on Sunday. So let's hope that I can do that. And I enjoy having a PT because she just keeps me accountable. When I first went to see Mariana, I was actually over 100 kilograms. Today I was 77.2 kilograms. So I'll put in some pictures actually she took of my progress. And I've not always been into all the fitness that I am at the moment. I actually started out on kind of like a health journey in 2018 because my doctor said that I was at risk of type 2 diabetes and sent me on a diabetes prevention program which lasted 9 months, and it was there to help people who were at risk of diabetes to change the lifestyle, and it really worked. I started out on that program and I was about 100, I think it was 130 kilograms. Mariana, my PT, has been a big part of that journey, and now I'm getting ready just to do a 5k run. This is going to be the last run that I do before the marathon, so I'll see you in a bit. Right, I've just had a shower and I've washed my hair and put on this top, which is, it's a bit creased, I know, needs a bit of an iron really, but this is the leftover fabric from the dressmaker's ball, and my friend Jill, she's made quite a few of the Tammy handmade Naya T-shirts in a woven. I made the 14, but I think I need to size down, definitely. And this one, I made it in the size 14, but it was just far too big. I mean, it is still quite roomy now. You can see I've got loads of room in it. But what I did was I took it in from here all the way down to the bottom, and I took about 3 centimeters off each side, and as you can see, still roomy. And the other thing that I find is that it's quite wide. Now I've got a thick vest on with thick straps underneath. I don't really care that you can see them, but next time I think I will just alter the neckline slightly. This is a viscose crepe, and it's lovely. I just love Cobra corsage. I just love the print and everything about it. So yeah, I've just thrown this on today. So the first thing I've got to do is I've got to print out a pattern, and I bought the pattern this morning. I love it that you can just get a PDF pattern and print it out and you've got it immediately. Now on to some actual sewing, which is going to be great. Yesterday I was also off, so I spent a bit of time putting some of my fabrics on Stash Hub. Now I wouldn't recommend doing it at night because actually the photos that I took of the fabric aren't the best, but at least they're just on there now. And one of the fabrics that I've really liked and I've had an idea in my mind for a while came and jumped out at me and said make me. So that's what I'm going to be making today, and it's the first time I've ever done this type of garment. It's a bias cut skirt, so I've never done a garment that's been cut on the bias, so that's new for me. It's also a new pattern company to me, and that's Vicky Sews. And the reason why I went with the bias skirt from them is because it does look quite modern, and I like the fact that they do it for different height sizes. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm 5'8½", so I am fairly tall. Although I've got quite short legs, I've got quite a long torso, but hopefully this skirt is going to fit pretty well. Now with Vicky Sews you also have to just choose your size, and I thought I might get one either side, but actually I've printed it off and you just get the size that you ordered. So I ordered a size 44, and I think it might be a little bit tight on my hip. And it's this fabric, and it's a viscose sateen, so it's got a bit of a sheen to it, and it's quite soft and silky depending on which way you stroke it. No, it's side to side, it's not that silky. Up and down it feels quite silky soft. And yeah, I don't know whether you can actually see the sheen. I don't think you can on the camera. I don't think it's picking it up. As you can see, it's in this, it's not a bright white, but it's like an off-white colour. It's an off-white with black, and I would call that zebra print, would you? I don't know. So I thought this was going to look really nice as a bias cut skirt, and eventually I think I'd like to make one in a silk, but let's just start off with the Rainbow Fabrics fabric and see where we get. I'm not sure whether I've got the right size elastic. I might just have to wing that a bit, so we'll have to see about that. It looks quite a straightforward pattern, so I'm just going to stick it together now and then cut it out and sew it up. And as I said, my sister's coming later. I don't think she'll want to be on camera. She's a little bit camera shy. Let's see how I get on with the bias skirt, so keep watching for an update on that. I've finished putting the pattern pieces together. I got a little bit of footage, but then my battery for my camera ran out, and I don't think it was a very good angle anyway. I'm really struggling to try and find the right angle to film things in here, but I've brought down my sewing stuff because my sister's coming later and there's only room for one person in my sewing room. And yeah, so we'll use this big table which is in the kitchen to yeah, do our sewing and cutting out. And actually it's really lucky I've got two big cutting mats, and that's because I run the social, and yeah, I bought a couple of big cutting mats, and it's absolutely ideal for these big pattern pieces for this bias cut skirt. So there's just two pieces, a front and a back. Now, I mentioned earlier that I ordered the size 44, and I think, let me double check, the hip size was 41 3/4. Yeah, so the skirt that I've got is the satin skirt, and as you can see it's bias cut. Difficulty is 2.5, and it says suitable for beginners. Now the description of the pattern says satin is a bias cut close fitting skirt with a slight trapeze silhouette and an elastic waistband. It has luxe finishing with French seams and a pin hem without the use of an overlocker. It's above ankle length. So then it says about the differences in fabric when it's cut on the bias. So you know, it depends on the properties of your fabric. So to ensure a proper fit, start by basting the side seams along the original stitching line. Try it on, and if it's too tight, then let the seam allowances out. The waist is a 31.5, and I'm a 30-inch waist, so I'm thinking this is going to be a little bit big for me at the waist. So just let me check what the size the hip is supposed to be. The hip is 41.7 inches, that's what it's made for, and I'm 42.5. So I've got the right size for the hip, I think. I'm a little bit bigger, but I don't think that that little bit is going to make too much of a difference. I think the main issue that I'm going to have is the waist is going to be maybe a little bit too big. So I'm going to take it in on the waist. I am going to add slightly to the side seams just to check that it's going to fit over my hip. So I'm going to do that with a pattern, then I'm going to cut out. So what are we on now? 2:45. So I've only really started at about 12:15. So 3 hours down. I've not been working that fast really, have I? So let's get on with the next step. So I've just been up to my fabric stash, and fortunately I found the right width of elastic. So the width of elastic that it tells you need is 1 inch wide, which is around 2.5 centimetres. Unfortunately I've got some in my stash, so that's brilliant. And I'm just going to go and get my iron out of the garage and then come and cut out the skirt. Great. So as you will have seen, I've just ironed my fabric, and I'm just going to set it out now and cut it. I've done a bit of sewing, as you will have seen, and I've French seamed the side seams together. I was a little bit worried about basting it together and then trying it on and possibly stretching it out. So yeah, I've just decided to French seam it together. I don't know if it's going to fit, so that's going to be the real test to see if it fits. I'm not going to try it on yet because I want to do the waistband, because I don't want to stretch the waistband out either. I don't know if actually I'm going to have to put it on over my head rather than step into it, because I don't know if the waistband will stretch over my hips. I'm thinking maybe not. Yeah, it's been a bit of a tricky sew, and the bottom of the hem doesn't line up. I'm going to let it hang anyway, and then do the hem. But I don't know if you can look at the difference there between the hem line. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I don't know if that's my cutting or what. It seemed to match up at the notches nearer the top, but then as I got to the bottom, it's not. Anyway, I think it's going to be long enough anyway, because it's for somebody my height. I've not added any length, but it's quite a long skirt anyway. It looks like it comes down to nearly the ankle, and I wouldn't mind just like a calf length one anyway. So I think this is definitely going to be a bit of a learning experience. So let's see now. I've got to do the elastic for the waistband, and obviously they give you a pattern piece, but this is probably going to be a bit too big for me, so I'm just going to take some length off. So wish me luck. I'm feeling rather tired now, but my sister's due soon, so yeah, let's press on. It's now Thursday, and my sister did come round after work yesterday, so I didn't take any more footage, but I thought I would jump on today and just update you on what we got up to and how far I got with my skirt. So I actually finished my skirt at, I think it was 6:45. So I'd started at 12:15, sticking the pattern pieces together, and then I cut it out and then sewed it up. And it's actually a fairly simple sew, but quite tricky because of the bias cut nature of it, and I'm really happy with the fit. The only slight tweak that I had to make was to redo the seam down one side. It was just a little bit bumpy. I think I've improved it. I mean, I don't think I'm going to get a perfectly smooth seam down both sides, because, you know, you're joining two pieces of bias cut fabric together. But I'm really happy with it. Well, it's not 100% finished because I do have to hem it. I'm just hanging it, and I'll hang it probably till next week and then hem it. Unless I wanted to wear it for the weekend, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll get some footage of it without it being hemmed to just pop it in here, hopefully, so you can just see the fit on me. I'm really happy with it. It's exactly what I envisaged. And what I really liked was you actually double up the elastic around the waist, and it actually makes for a really nice secure fit. So you've got like one side of elastic there and then one piece of elastic there, and it just makes it really firm and secure. I really liked that finish. Obviously it's not the neatest because I've got black stitching on white elastic, and there are some skip stitches in there. But it's secure enough, it's going to do the job. And I did actually just stitch in the ditch down each of the side seams just to hold the elastic in place down the side seam. And this, you probably didn't see, but this has darts at the back. So it's got a dart here. It's quite a long dart actually. It comes all the way down to here, and one on this side as well. Which is not as visible, but yeah, there it is. So I think that makes for a really nice shape at the back, and just brings it nicely in at the waist. I did alter the waist just to bring that in slightly, so I altered the bottom pieces, because I did the size 44. It was actually fine on the hip. So I'm a 42.5 hip, and the pattern is for 41 3/4, but it said there was 7 centimetres ease in the hip. It probably actually turned out that I used a little bit of a bigger seam allowance even, so because it tells you to finish with French seams, which I did, so it's all French seamed inside. There you can see my French seam there, but I didn't want to get too close to the edge, so when I was sewing it for the first time, you know, wrong sides together, so I did actually do a little bit more of a generous seam allowance than I should have done. So, even though I'm slightly bigger on the hip than the pattern is designed for, and I took a slightly bigger seam allowance, it actually works perfectly, and I'm really happy with the fit and the look of this garment. It was challenging cutting out the skirt on the bias. I had my 2 big cutting mats, and I could fit the pattern piece on, but only straight. When I put it on the bias, it kind of dangled off both edges, so I was thinking, oh, I don't really want to move it down to the floor. I don't really want to have to cut out with my scissors. I prefer to cut out with a rotary cutter. So what I decided to do was to put my fabric on the bias and put my pattern piece straight so it would fit on the cutting mat. And that's how I ended up cutting it out. It probably is not the right way to do it, but that's the way I decided to do it anyway. I now just need to let the hem drop and to then hem it. So yeah, I'm going to do that either later this week or next week, after it's hung up and done its thing. My sister came round and she didn't really have a project cut out, and I had quite a bit of material left after I did this skirt. I think I had over 2 meters. I actually had 4 meters of the fabric, and I think it took less than 2 meters, so I had quite a big piece left. So I said to Hannah, why don't we both do a woven Naya T-shirt by Tammy Handmade. She's already made that T-shirt, so she knows it fits, and she knows that she likes to wear it, and I thought that this material actually might make a nice slinky little T-shirt. So we both cut one out and sewn them up. So we got quite far with it actually. I've only got the cuffs left to do, and I'll show you my T-shirt. Now, I was wearing my T-shirt yesterday and I said that I was going to alter the neckline, but I didn't alter the neckline. And I did say I was going to take it in a bit, so I did cut the pattern piece to the size 12. So I have taken it in a bit, and actually I've tried it on and it's maybe a little bit snug around my hips. So on this side I've got my cuff on. You do the normal cuff. Actually it worked out, I needed to take off another centimetre off the length of the cuff so it fit onto the sleeve. So it might not be a perfect fit if you just do the jersey cuff. So then I've attached it on right sides together. I've already pre-pressed that up 1 centimetre, so on the other side. So what I'm going to do is just fold that over and pin it all in place to make sure that the inside of the cuff goes over the stitching line, and then I'm going to turn it over and then just stitch in the ditch. So we'll just finish the neckline with bias tape. I think it's what you call single fold bias tape, 1 inch wide, and that's how I finished the neckline. And oh yeah, I didn't have quite enough fabric to cut the back on the fold, so I've cut the back in 2 pieces and put a seam down the centre back. I don't know whether I'll wear them together, but I'm really pleased that I've got a new T-shirt and a new skirt. So that was yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed spending the time with me. If you made it this far, thanks for your company. Have really enjoyed talking to camera and having you along for my day, and it's back to work today. But I hope you're all having a good day. Thanks to all my subscribers and all the people who take the time to watch and comment on my vlogs. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.